Hello, everybody. Amazing Last Days with Michael Evans. Well, it's been just a little while since I've released a video, so I thought I'd put out another one. This one's a little different than anything I've done before, kind of. When I was up in Alaska, I was living like everybody else when I first got there. I stayed in a very expensive room in somebody's home. The people of Seward and other places in Alaska, they make extra money by renting out rooms in their home, and it actually helps make ends meet. And so there's quite a few people that do it, especially in Seward. And I rented the least expensive room I could find. I don't remember right now what it was. I'm guessing a couple hundred. It was under 300 a week. That's a good price actually up there. But it was more than I wanted to pay. I wanted to save that money. So I bought a truck from a guy, got a good deal on the truck, a really good deal. I wish I still had that truck, but it's just too far to get it. It would have cost me the value of the truck or more just to get it down here. So that would have been a bit of a risk. Anyway, I put a kind of a tent in the back of it with a bed in it, and I saved that rent money. And when I left, I sold all that and actually made a profit off of it. So I got my money back and then some, a little bit more. So that worked out really good. I had thousands more to bring back with me instead of thousands I had spent on renting a place. So anyway, I try to be frugal like that. I try to save money when I'm working remote jobs. And right now, I'm retired at the moment. I will go back to work again. I've got goals I have to meet and pop on veneers. Wow, they don't stay. Let's see. Anyway, so I thought I'd show you something, what I've got going on right now. I bought a van about a year ago, and I've been fixing it up little by little. And I've got it really nice. I'm going to show you. I'm just going to turn the camera around in a circle. This isn't a walkthrough. I'm sitting at about the middle of the van. And so a little later on, when I learn how to edit my videos, I've got the equipment. I just got to learn how to do the editing. But they'll look a little better. I'll add music and I can stop and start my videos. For right now, I'll just turn my camera in a circle. So what I've got here is a lot of oak woodwork. I've got cabinets galore with food, and I forgot what I've got in here. I don't know. Weapons for self-defense, stuff. I don't know what that is. This is my medicine cabinet. Here's a cabinet and shelf and a table that I made today to kind of camouflage my my air conditioner. I'm not nearly through with the table. Let me turn this around and okay, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Okay, I got to turn the camera. So here we go. So anyway, there's my table. I built this yesterday and this today, put my shelf in, and I'm going to frame it in and trim it, and it's going to look really nice. I'm already using it. Got all my junk out here. And so I've got a really nice TV right here that I hung in here. So that's pretty nice. I've got overhead lights, um, oak wood everywhere, and felt, I think you call it. And it's just very nice and cushy and warm, even though it's cold outside. I'm going to turn around. I've got this little heater that I put in here, Heater Buddy, and it works really good. As a matter of fact, it works too good. I have to cut it off periodically, and most of the time, if the wind's not blowing outside, and a little air coming in from somewhere, I can just leave the pilot light on, and that'll last for days and days and days, and you'll stay warm enough. It's just the perfect temperature. I've got my my little mandolin here to be learning to play, and I've got my tools charging. I'm plugged into 110 outside. I've also got, let me see, the TV is 110. And on the other side of the top, I've got another TV. It's a 12 volt DC, and that thing will work forever off the battery. But I just don't want to risk running the battery down, so I've got everything plugged in right now. But you know, you can leave the motor running, and it's got I'll show you. It's got a DVD player. If anybody remembers those, I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me get some light on that. Okay, and then I've got the TV. And on this side, I've got storage for the DVDs. And yeah, it's pretty neat. I like it. So there's the front of the van, and you can see all the lights. Now I've got 2 sound systems in this vehicle. I've got one up front. It's got a CD player and a radio. I've got one back here and speakers all over. It's got surround sound speakers everywhere. And I've got a cassette player, if you remember those. I may actually have yeah, okay. I've got a cassette player, and then I've got 2 radios, and it's just really neat that I've got all this stuff in here. I mean, you don't have to do anything but reach and turn something on. Multiple places to plug in headphones if you want private music or whatever. It's just really kind of neat. And so what I'm really proud of is, now I'm not nearly through with this, but I'm doing the woodwork on it. And, see if you can see. And there's my there's my AC, my 110 AC. It's 5,000 BTUs, and my brand new shelf hasn't been trimmed or anything. Nothing's fancy about it yet, but I'm getting there. I just got that today. And there's my table for my laptop. My laptop, you can't see it. And so I've just got everything in the world here. Now, I'm going to show you. I'm going to have to stand up to do this. Maybe. So, here's the table. I'll take the light again. And there's my bed, if you can make it out. And speakers and lights. It's really fancy. It's really nice and super comfortable in here. Underneath my bed, and I'm just not going to pull my bed apart. I don't have a third arm. I just can't do that. But anyway, I'll show you down here. You see the yellow lid underneath my heater. That's a plastic container. That's all that is. And I've got, I think, a dozen or more. I don't really remember. Yeah, probably like 14 or something. I don't know. But they're full of canned goods and clothing, pots and pans, electrical stuff, tools, containers with propane for the heat, and I've got a stove. I don't have any idea where it's at right now. It's probably about 10 o'clock at night, so I don't really want to dig it out. But it's got everything. It's a really neat van. It's a Chevy Astro 1998. It gets pretty good gas mileage. It runs pretty good. And it's dependable. And it saves me a ton of money. And, there's just a lot of people. It's a subculture right now. There's tons and tons of older people and some younger people that are doing this. And I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I don't think that I'm going to be able to have a normal relationship with a normal person living like this. I don't think so. So I may wind up selling this van. We'll see. I've got a sweetheart in the Philippines, and I'm going to go see her and see how that works out, spend some time with her. And I think I may or may not sell it before I go, or I may keep it and have something to come back to in case it don't work out. I don't know. I've got to think about that. I've got half a year before I have to make up my mind, probably that long. at least till April or May, probably June. And so that's my idea. And so in the meantime, I can save money. I'm extremely comfortable. This mattress is a memory foam. I paid about $160 something for it. And it is so unbelievably, it's not the most comfortable bed I've ever been on. It's in the top 3. I've lived in hotels and motels and 5-star places and dumps and dives and everything in between. I'd say most of my life. I've been traveling since 1988. I took off, had a bad divorce, and if there's a good one, and went to Alaska. I lived in remote work camps. They usually are pretty rough. They'll give you a room without windows and it's dirty and it's bad. And you make a fortune, so you put up with it. That's where they put you to live. It's warm enough. You've got a place to take a shower and do your laundry. And you work about 16 hours a day, usually 7 days a week in the summer. Spring, summer, and fall, and then winter, it may slow down to 84 hours a week. But nobody wants to go to a place like that, and there's nothing else to do. So minimum 84 hours a week work. And you'll go nuts when you're not working. You need that work when you're out in a spot like that. As beautiful as it is in remote Alaska, that only lasts so long. And then you need something to do, people to talk to, normal people to talk to, and intelligent people to talk to. And so, yeah, it gets out of hand. Most people go drinking, drugging, and they will hit bottom, even though they're making thousands of dollars a week. And me, I was a teetotaler for about the first 3.5 years that I was up there. And I saved. And a lot of stuff happened. And, well, you wind up feeling so bad, you got to go spend money to make yourself feel better. And you travel around and relax. And then guess what? You're broke. You got to go back and do it again. You got plans. And it's just kind of a cycle you get into. So anyway, I kind of got off track there. The bed is what I was talking about. So anyway, it's a lifestyle, and I've gotten used to tight quarters. I've built ships since 1989. I worked on ships and built them and built boats. And I've developed a love for smaller boats and small ships and big ships. And the quarters are usually pretty tight, pretty cramped, and everything has its place. Every nook and cranny has a use. There's no wasted space. There's no big, wide open wasted space at all. And you get used to that. And after a while, you don't particularly care for wide open spaces a whole lot. If you want that, then you go outside. And that's about where I'm at. So anyway, it's a great little van, and this is what van life's like. I used to take Kung Fu lessons up in Blountful, Tennessee from a guy named David Collins. I hope he's still alive. But anyway, he teaches a lot of classes on things and Kung Fu, and he actually does a Bible study. And let's see, he knows a lot about astronomy. He has his own observatory. Does some things I won't mention. That's just not to be mentioned on something like this type of program. But he's quite the resourceful fella, and he's a pretty interesting guy, really. But he teaches a survival class, and he showed us some footage one time after Kung Fu lessons. Well, he teaches judo, karate, Kung Fu, and other things, but he has his own system, and it's called Fire and Water System. If you ever get up that way in Blountful, Tennessee, you will not believe how good of an instructor he is and how good of an art that is, considering where it's at. It's in the hillbilly mountains of Tennessee, right next to the Virginia border. And love hillbillies, so that's not a derogatory mark as far as I'm concerned. An unusual place for such a good kung fu school. Anyway, he was showing the footage of the what you do when you're like climbing mountains and it's 30 below zero. And it's a challenge that people take and they think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then they get there and you're freezing half to death most of the time. So what do? You do what I'm doing right now, except you're in a sleeping bag that's rated 60 below zero and you're wearing all your cold weather gear and you haven't changed your underwear in a week and a half because it's cold and you need a bath and you want a hot coffee, but you dare not reach out of your sleeping bag and waste any of your body heat. And so somebody was holding the camera and was that exposed, but it was just freezing cold and somebody was filming somebody else all bundled up in their sleeping bag. And David looked at us and said, that's what you do when it's 30 below and you're climbing a snowy mountain. So this is what you do when you're doing van life. And, like I said, if you want to get up and walk around or do jumping jacks or work out, you go outside. Yeah, it's just the way it is. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can edit this and show the outside of the van. It's got some flaws. It's got its good points. The inside is in extremely good shape. And it's just a very nice looking van. I wish I had my remote. There it is. I'll turn something interesting on TV. Super nice to have a television, a Roku television. That's why it picks up in here like this. I don't have an antenna or anything. And you just have to have Wi-Fi, and that's not any trouble at all. So let's get something going here and turn the sound down. There we go. You get some idea. See, isn't that nice? I mean, I'm laying in bed watching TV, and everything in here is just 5-star. It's just really, really super nice. And I couldn't be more comfortable. It's 1998 minivan, but it's a conversion van. They listed it, and it was about, I guess, over a year ago. I don't really remember. Yeah, it's like a year and several months ago. And the price of these things are through the roof. And I couldn't believe how high that everybody wanted for these. But I saw this one, and even though it had a little rust down in the bottom where I've cut the running boards off because there's some rust up under there. And I got rid of the running boards, and I will deal with that rust issue at some point. If not, I'll sell it and somebody else will fix it. But it's not a deal breaker. It's okay. It's fixable. But man, it's just got so many good things about it. And so I flew up to Indiana of all places and got it and drove back, and it's just been a champion of a van life vehicle. And like I said, I've got it fixed up pretty good. I've got I've got water, jugs of water, bottled water. I don't need running water. Running water is not a good idea in something like this. A lot of people think that you need a big stove and all these things. I've got a little camper stove and I pull it out. It's got a little propane bottle. And if you need to heat something or cook something, it's fine. You sit it out here on the table or step outside and do it. But what you don't want to do is get a lot of steam for like hours doing heavy duty cooking and anything like this, a bus or anything else, because it gets moisture, it warps the wood, it causes mold and mildew problems. There's no such problem like that in this van because I take care of it and I don't do that. I will heat up some coffee, that's fine. briefly something like that, and a little steam gets in here. That's normal. It's not going to hurt anything. But you don't want to be cooking and cooking and cooking for a long time, and do that regularly, and get a lot of moisture in here. So it's got everything you need, and I really enjoy it. It's a little lonesome. It's a little tight space, but it's fun. And if I trimmed a little off that table, I could get a twin bed in here, and 2 people can fit on a twin. And it's nice. What I was thinking about doing, you can see the upper portion here. I'll show you the top where the lights are, and the beautiful oak woodwork. That's the roof above me that you're seeing. Thinking about cutting all that out, or at least a section of it, maybe there just a hatchway, and building a top on it out of wood, and varnishing it and staining it, make it look really nice, and having a crawl space up there with a mattress, and you can sleep up there. And of course, it'll have to have airflow, if not a tiny heater and air conditioner. But then you've got more room down here. You can put maybe a recliner, or I don't know, a couch, and just have a seating space here. But you still would have more room. You got room that way. You could stand up where the hatch is, and stand straight up and put your clothes on. That's pretty important to me. So I'm seriously thinking about doing that, and I could just take the whole top out, and build it higher so I can stand up and actually step forward and change clothes and do all that. It'd make it a lot more spacious and comfortable. You can always maybe hang a hammock up there too. Person wanted to do that. I kind of like sleeping down here, but I've had one before that I made when I was out on the West Coast, and I had a hatch and a sleep space up top. It was great. There's still people that don't like to see people in vans and buses. There's a lot of people. There's some places you try to go there, and they will see to it that you're run off. And the police will harass you sometimes in places. You're perfectly legal. And especially on the West Coast, they're tyrannical out there. They're Nazis almost, and not breaking the law at all. And they'll tell you, no, we're going to harass you. We don't want you around here. We don't want anybody doing that. Well, you have the freedom to do it, and we're not going to let you do it. We're not going to give you peace until you leave, and you're not bothering a soul. Parks and so forth. And yeah, I was mistreated pretty bad out there when I did that. I come down from Alaska. I'd have more money than they did by far, and could have afforded whatever I wanted, but I liked to camp. And I took my van and would go camping. And yeah, people just don't like that. And you would not believe how many people do it. So there's a place called Quartzsite, I believe, in Arizona, and there's other places in Arizona and around the country where people they clump up together. They join in together and make a community where they can. And I think they're left alone for the most part. You can stay for a certain amount of time in certain areas, but it's there's a lot more of it than you might think. Some of it's out of absolute necessity, and some of it's because, like me, I like to do it. And I like the type of people, usually, I like the type of people that live that way. They're adventurous. They've got good adventure stories to tell, and they're sharing and caring people as a general rule. They are. And I like to be around people like that, good people. I could care less about if you make $10 million or if you make $10 or $0. I don't care. That doesn't concern me. It's what's in your heart. It matters to me. And I try to be a good person, at least at this point in my life. And so, yeah, I enjoy being around people like that. So just as soon as I can splice this in, or I may just release this like it is, I don't know, and make another one and piece it up. I think I will. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll make another one. So this one's already ran at 25 minutes, me running my mouth and jibber jabbering, showing off my new teeth that don't fit. So anyway, that's all I can think of. Let me show you what's on TV. One last look around. My half-built shelves, cabinets, table. I just put the air conditioner in, and it's cold. You wouldn't believe. There's my TV. I put that in. There's my oak shelves, all my oak woodwork everywhere in here. It is beautiful. And so, you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit more. That's all this is about anyway. So it's about anything and everything in the last days. We're living in the last days. I'm thinking about moving to the Philippines. I haven't made up my mind. I'm really having a hard time making some of these decisions. I'm torn. You know, I've got a life to live, a little left. I've got adventure to have, but I've got a grandbaby. She's not my blood grandbaby, but I've been there for her since she was 4 days old. I spoke for her when she was 3 days old. I said, you go get her. You bring her. We'll take care of her and love her. Now, that relationship with the rest of the family did not work. But with little Bella, you've seen her on some of my other videos. I love her so much. And she may as well be my own daughter or my own granddaughter. It just, the fact that there's no blood kin doesn't matter to me at all. Actually, the Bible says that we are kin. The Bible says we're all of one blood. So we're all related to each other. And so I guess we're distant cousins or something like that. Whatever the case, I love her. And I feel a responsibility toward her. And it's really hard for me. But I'm at least going to have to go and spend a little time in the Philippines. And so that's going to be a future mini series. I guess I'll start releasing tapes on that, is preparing for that trip, and then as I fly over, and then my time there. And I have one specific person that I want to go see, and she's really nice. She's a really nice young lady, and she's a little younger than me. There's an age gap. She's 38 years old, and I am 64. Doesn't hurt my feelings in the least. She doesn't seem to mind, and I certainly don't. She's very attractive, very sweet-natured, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that's not angry every day for no reason, and somebody that you can have a normal conversation with, go to church with, and share presenting the gospel to people, or just inviting people to church with you so that they can learn about salvation, and doing what we should be doing. So she seems to me, she's fits the bill, I think. So we're going to go spend some time together and see how that goes in person. We talk to each other several times a day, and that's there again. That's I brought that up because there's a lot of people doing that, and I just happened to have gave it a shot, and hundreds and hundreds of women wrote me, texted to me, and I mean hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And many of them were not Seventh-day Adventists. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and I very specifically said that, don't waste your time, and I won't waste mine. If you're not a Seventh-day Adventist, if you're not a Christian, if you're not a Seventh-day Adventist, then I don't want to get a conversation started, because I'm looking for somebody. And so I actually had a few comment, well, I could be a Seventh-day Adventist. They didn't know anything about it, but they're willing to convert. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, there were hundreds that I discarded very quickly. And then, of course, ugly had to go. 300 pounds had to go. 200 pounds had to go. Even less than that, I'm sorry. But I finally found somebody. She's 100 pounds, and she's 4'11". She's actually about 95 pounds, and she's 4'11", tiny little person, and she's just as sweet as can be. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people doing that. There's a lot of men from America and Australia and Germany, the UK, France. I heard today. I heard France a lot, and even New Zealand. A lot of these people are moving to the Philippines. They go there. I'd say 80% of them or more go there to find a good relationship. And it just seems like there's some sort of, I don't know what it is that causes it, but there's some sort of power struggle between the Western woman and the Western man. And I just don't have time for that anymore. I've tried and tried and tried to make that work, and everybody's telling me, well, it's kind of tough being a white male. Excuse me about my teeth, but it's hard to be a white man in this world these days anyway. And then I'm a Christian, and what else? Well, I mean, they've beat us half to death already, and it's getting kind of old, and so. I'm not I was an alpha male. I don't know what category I'd be in now, but I'm a nice guy. I'm a good fellow. And that doesn't seem to fly in for anybody anymore anyway, And so it just seems like I've taken quite a whooping, and so have a lot of other people. And there's a lot of people, they leave. And if you watch some of the YouTube channel people that are over in the Philippines, they'll tell you the same thing. They're tired of the conflict. They're tired of the constant problems and the whatever that is, that power struggle. And they go and try something else, and they go head first. And a lot of them, they make it. It works. There's just a different culture there. And now I think some guys go over there thinking that they're just going to have a servant. And boy, that's just as messed up as the women that you're leaving. You go over there and you're a thoughtful man. You're a kind man. You're a Christian. There's something to hold on to, huh? You live with morals, and you're patient and caring, or at least you want to be. Some people won't let you be, and it's kind of hard to be good when you're being attacked all the time. At some point, you just have to throw your arms up and defend yourself, or leave. And so I give up. I'm not trying to find an American woman anymore. I like Asian women anyway. I like the way they look. The appearance is quite beautiful, I think. And then a lot of them, their culture teaches them. The Philippines, they're a Christian nation. I believe that's true. The United States used to be. Try saying that now. Try going into a public place and saying we're a Christian nation. You'll be booed and hissed out 9 times out of 10. It's getting crazy over here. And I'm not usually one to cut and run, but you can't win that battle now. It's too far gone. And I've only got so many years left. It's the last days. I'm convinced of it. And so what I want to do is live a happy life and do a good work in the last days. And I want to find a partner that I can do that with without being worldly and tied up and tangled with so many sinful and hurtful things. I don't want to fight. I want to love. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. I think in about 6 months, I'm going to be taking that flight, spend a couple of months over there, and I may or may not come back. So if anybody's in the market for a really nice van when the time comes, you know where to come. So anyway, I guess that's about everything I've got to say. And yeah, until next time, this is Amazing Last Days with Michael Evans. Oh, one more thing. You know, it's not the greatest until I learn how to edit. It's not the greatest program, but it would really help me in the future. And it also contributes to literature. And I've already got the equipment. I went and worked for that. But it will contribute to literature that I can give out. And it will help me to do this program. If you will, it won't cost you a dime. If you'll like and subscribe, and every once in a while, even if you don't watch the show, turn it on to my channel and let them play. When you got nothing better to do, let them play out. And at some point in time, I'm going to monetize this channel. And when I do, if you'll do the same, like and subscribe, and let them play through the advertisements, they'll actually pay me if I get so much time in on it, and that will contribute to evangelism. And some people say that's not evangelism. Well, let me throw this idea past you. If I'm giving away literature, I'm not charging for it. And I invite to bring you to church. If you don't have a way to church, I'll come get you. I'll gladly do it. I'll pay for the gas. I'm going anyway. And even if you're out of the way, I'll come get you. I'm like that. I'll take you on my last dollar. I sure will. And we'll get there and back. So if I'm doing that, how is that not evangelism? Somebody told me the other day, it really shocked me because I thought this really nice person, I thought he's in the church. And I was asking him if he had seen my channel. I don't have time for that, he says. And he just was on the edge of, sounded like he was going to insult me. He was smiling, but he sounded like I thought he was going to say something like, I don't have time for nonsense or something like that. And then when I mentioned about it being an evangelistic tool, he says, well, it's not evangelism, it's your personal thing. And well, yeah, it's personal thing, but it's also evangelism. If you take these books that I have and these pamphlets and you sell them, you go around with your hand out and you sell these books. It's called literature evangelism. And you're trying to spread the gospel, but you're asking for money. Some of them have a price tag on them, and some people ask for donations. And I give them to you. Now, if you think to yourself, well, can I donate? Oh, I'll take it in a heartbeat. I may at some point in the future get a box that says donations. I don't know. If you want to send donations, you're perfectly welcome to, and I'll take them and put them to good use, but I don't ask for it. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. The Bible says, buy the truth and sell it not. So I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm interested in what God's interested in. He is trying to save us. There was a conflict that started, we don't know how long ago it was. It may have started thousands and thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago. I don't know. But I don't even like saying his name, but his name's Lucifer. And he was the highest created being. And he had incredible intelligence, wisdom. He was beautiful. They say, don't call him handsome. It calls him beautiful. That's pretty good looking, I think. When a man's beautiful, he's pretty good looking. And I believe it says he was the leader of the choir. I don't know that it says that in the scriptures. I think there's an assumption there because of the wording of the description of him. His pipes were he was created with a great singing ability, apparently. I don't know how to word it exactly, and I don't want to paraphrase it. So, anyway, he's magnificent, and he had great influence, and he was a tremendously good leader. And he was so influential that he convinced, if you can imagine this, now imagine you were created by God, you get to see God every day. You probably don't ever sleep. You don't need to. You don't even know what sleep is. Never heard of sleep. You're conscious, what we would call 24 hours a day. It's just continually energetic, happy, doing something, learning something, doing something good. And you get to see God. And somehow the presence of God gives you something. It's incredible to be around him. He's so awesome. It does something for you. And you've been in his presence for centuries, for thousands of years, for hundreds of thousands of years, whenever he created you. And then this Lucifer comes along, and he's so influential, and he's got such an argument that he creates doubt in your mind. Can you imagine being in God's presence? A third of the kingdom of heaven fell. They sided with Lucifer, and there was a war in heaven. They literally had to be kicked out. Now we know that by the book of Job that Lucifer had access to the throne of God in that time, and I don't believe he does now. He has some way to communicate with God, but I don't think he can just come and go. I believe he's been cast out already. He's here, and he does know that his time is short. The Bible says, "Rejoice, ye inhabitants of the heavens, but woe unto the inhabitants of the earth, because the devil," I believe it says, he's been cast out, and he knows his time is short. He's very angry. And so, a little paraphrasing, but that's pretty close. It's in the book of Revelation. These are the last days, and he's very angry. So, my point is that we've only got so much time left, and we've got a job to do. And I believe it is evangelism. I believe that we all should be evangelists. We should be doing that type of work, helping to bring more people into the church. And it's not about building the church up. It's about people being saved, increasing the kingdom of heaven. That's what it's about. So, anyway, I guess I'll leave it there. That's enough for tonight. And I'll do another video probably in a couple of days, if not tomorrow, and show my van some more and talk a little bit more about what I've got going on. So until next time, this is Amazing Last Days with Michael Evans.